Hmm. I think I just sent you the link for the YouTube live. Actually, I'm going to send you another one. I've got a shorter one. If you're talking to me, you're muted.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I was on the phone with Aaron Jordan and James Thomas. They were asking about that house on Nottaway again.
Yeah, and
So-
we'll address that in the meeting, but it does look like, I mean, they're building it to Lake-Bullard standards, according to what's in, you know, the restrictions we've got.
Okay.
Let's see, they changed how to share.
I mean, is there any violation with city building codes?
No, I mean, they've got permits from the city.
I was trying to look at their the plan that they sent out, and it's turned sideways on the screen. So it's kind of hard to read. Maybe if I print it.
Al, how you doing? Al, I know you had some illness in the family. How's things going?
Doing good. So mom's hanging in there. It's a little hard on my wife, trying to taking care of her. I'm just more or less helping out. But we're doing fine. Doing fine.
Well,
I think Aaron's biggest concern initially was he thought it was going to be a raised house because they hadn't cut the pilings.
It is going to be a raised house,
Yeah.
but there's raised houses in Lake-Bullard. There's one on the corner of Bullard and Fernley. They just put the brick underneath it, so it doesn't look like it's raised. And I believe that's what they're doing for this one as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so he needs to realize that, because he was saying that there's no other houses raised in Lake-Bullard. So we'll make sure we put that in the notes.
Yeah, and I really don't think there's any restrictions against that, because after Katrina, FEMA was actually encouraging a lot of people to raise the house.
Exactly. Did they change how to share the screen?
I haven't tried to.
Because every time I try to share the screen, it's not giving me the ability.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. So
Well,
are
yeah.
you on as the host or as a participant?
Yes, I am on as the host. I'm gonna make you a co-host, Lisa, to see if you
Okay.
can share your screen, because it's not letting me do mine.
Okay, it looks like it's letting me do it now.
Yeah, I just gave it to you, so
Okay. Are y'all seeing the agenda now?
yes, it just
Yeah.
popped up.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have all of the files to share if I can't get mine to go?
Yeah, I have, yeah. The only thing that are those plans, they were turned the wrong way, but I have everything.
Okay. Because yeah, it's not letting me do it at all, so. So far.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay.
Good morning.
I hope everyone's been well since we last met. It's been a while, so I hope everyone's been well.
Doing fine on this end.
I got my booster. I'm-
Oh, good for you. Good for you. I plan to get mine in 2 weeks when I have some downtime.
well, I'm just of that mature age where I can do that.
You like to say seasoned or marinated, but that's
Yeah,
I'm so bad.
seasoned.
Good.
And
There you
thanks,
go.
and thanks again to the hospital. I went over to the hospital, just walked right in, and they said, "Oh, just come upstairs." There were 2 people sitting in the waiting room, and said, "Come on in." And my wife and I just had to wait about 45 minutes. It was very easy.
Good. We
That's
try
why-
to make it easy.
So thank you all so much.
And no problem. We're glad to be here to serve the community. We
Yep.
try to make it really ease of access.
I brought my mother for her initial 2 shots there, and it was a wonderful experience. No problems at all.
Thank you. Thank you. If y'all have any suggestions on how we can improve, please let me know. Because, you know, I know we're doing, I'm glad to hear these good things, but we're always looking to improve and get more access to the community. We're really trying. I don't know if y'all have seen, we have a van now that actually bring the vaccines into other areas of New
Okay.
Orleans East. So if people can't get to the hospital, let them know that we'll get a van to go bring it to them.
Go ahead. All right.
Our goal is decreasing the disparities in healthcare that affect, of course, our community, but you know, we serve everyone.
I mean, the van goes house to house, or is it a group to group, or church to church, or?
Usually we've been setting up at churches or like community centers that are willing to host or partner with us.
Okay.
If they reach out, we'll set it up. If they're willing to bring the community, or if they let us know there's a need, they've been bringing it to like apartment complexes where the elderly are. They'll bring it there and have them come down, or sometimes they will go to different apartments if the elderly can't get out. Also, they've been going to different colleges, wherever there's a central place where people can get to. If they can't get to the hospital, they'll bring the van there. And we actually have 2 vans. So we've been able to get out thousands of vaccines via that route.
Wonderful.
That's really awesome. And it's part of the reason why New Orleans is more vaccinated than the entire rest of the state.
Yes. And our numbers are down. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Lord.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes, our numbers are down. So we've been busy.
And I mean, I don't know if you've gone, so after the hurricane, I was in Texas and Mississippi, and oh my God, no one wears a mask out there. It's
Right.
in Mississippi, they look at you like you're crazy if you wear a mask.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
I'm
a
so
lot of
glad to
crazy
be
looks
back
in
where
Texas.
I know, yeah, I'm glad to be back where I know, I mean, I go places where I know pretty much everyone is vaccinated, and that feels good to be able to do that, to be safe.
Yeah.
Everybody's home's okay and everything from the storm.
Minor damage, nothing serious here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
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 Morning,
This is
Brian.
Brenda. Yeah.
I had a little
Morning.
damage. I need a new roof, a new little piece of fence, and we had some minor leaks inside, but just absolutely grateful that it could have been worse. So
Right.
Yeah.
I saw some of our neighbors' houses, and so we're blessed. Some of our neighbors have substantial damage to their roofs.
yes, some people, I mean, it's amazing if you just drive through just how one house looks fine and then the next one. So, but I think as a large community, well, as a community, we were mostly spared with the exception of a few people, because SEAL did go around right after the storm and do an assessment for us, and just, you know, some of the other people I know was really bad. So I'm grateful for myself, and I'm hoping that everybody in the community's insurance actually takes care of what they're supposed to. That's why I said hoping.
That may be another story.
That's another meeting. That's the meeting after the meeting. But I stayed for the hurricane at the hospital, and I came out afterwards, and I actually agree with Brian. Compared to the other neighborhoods in Bullard, I don't know if y'all know, the day after the hurricane, there were looters on Bullard. I came out to make sure that we
Really?
were okay, and thank God that our neighborhood was pretty okay. So we were blessed.
And
Of
I was
course,
actually
none of our phones worked, so I couldn't reach out to anyone because we had no phone service. We had nothing. So, but I was
lucky enough to
glad.
still be able to communicate with SEAL to make sure. And I mean, I do really believe one of the reasons why our neighborhood was not looted is because their presence. They were here after making sure.
Right.
You know, it took them a while to put the National Guard at that Walgreens on the corner, but SEAL was doing everything they could to make sure that there was no looting going on. So I'm appreciative of that.
Because the looters were out the very next morning. As soon as it slowed down, they were out, which is terrible. But
Yeah.
that's another meeting after the meeting. But
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Well,
while we're
Brian-
talking about this with phone numbers, Lisa, could you send something to us? I don't want to step over my boundaries with all of our phone numbers, because I don't have everybody's phone number.
I can send something
Board
out.
members or residents?
No, board members. I don't have the ad for the residents either. I don't know if I need all of that, but I was, just for our communication.
You're on the group chat.
I
with
get
us.
all the texts, but there
But you
are
don't know
phone
whose
numbers
numbers are
pop
who.
up, but I don't know who the names are.
Mhm.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah, we can send that. And Brian, it's 4 minutes after 10, if you want to.
Yeah, I
I'm
was just
sorry.
so we've got 17 people of 23. I was just gonna wait until a few more
Okay.
minutes if we
All
get
right.
everyone in. But yeah, we should get started in a couple minutes. And just letting everyone know we are live on YouTube as well. And after the meeting is over, the full meeting will be able to be viewed on YouTube and on Lake-Bullard's Facebook page, if Facebook stays up.
Okay.
It went down. I didn't even know. I don't
Me either.
check it that
Yeah.
often.
Yeah, I don't.
me neither. Yeah.
All right, well, it's 10:05. We'll call the meeting to order at 10:05. Can we get a roll call of board members? I'll begin. Brian Jordan, President.
Velma Johnson, Vice President.
M. Tamisha St. Julian, Treasurer.
Brenda Hogan, member.
Al Parker, member.
Pat Mitchell, member.
I see Alton is on. Not sure. His camera
He's
might
muted.
have it connected. But we'll let the record show that he is on. And we do have a quorum. Moving on to the approval of the minutes. Lisa, if you have them, can you put them on the screen for us?
Can everyone see them?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's, no, I still see the agenda for today.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
okay.
yeah.
All right, let me do it again. Okay, how about now?
Now it's him.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, and they were administered electronically. If you wouldn't mind reading them for us, Lisa.
okay. These are the minutes from the March 20th, 2021 meeting. It was called to order at 10:00 a.m. All commissioners were present. Brian Jordan, Velma Johnson, Al Parker, Brenda Hogan, M. Tamishi St. Julian.
Whoa,
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's Alton, who's also,
Oh,
thank you.
oh, what he was saying he was present.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks. The minutes from the previous meeting were approved. New business covered the commissioners, election of the new commissioners. Part of my screen is missing here because of the things. I want to make it a little smaller. In accordance with the bylaws of the Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association and the Lake-Bullard Neighborhood Improvement District, vacant positions on the Lake-Bullard Board of Commissioners were filled. Candidates nominated for the 2 vacant positions were M. Tamishi St. Julian, Brian Jordan, Darlene James, who was later withdrawn, Aaron Jones, and James Thomas. Mr. Thomas did not attend the meeting. Candidates receiving the most votes from Lake-Bullard residents were M. Tamishi St. Julian and Brian Jordan. After that, an election of the officers was held. The results of the vote were President Brian Jordan, Vice President Velma Johnson, Treasurer M. Tamishi St. Julian, and Secretary Alton Newton. Other board members are Brenda Hogan, Patricia Mitchell, and Al Parker. There was a security update about releasing the security patrol schedule to residents, and it was announced that this information should not be released publicly. Although the board is aware that some residents disagree, there is a precedent for not releasing this information that has been set by the other homeowner associations in the area. Some other HOAs are even more restrictive than Lake-Bullard, and that their schedules are known by one person only. Lake-Bullard, on the other hand, has 2 to 3 members aware of the schedule. It is felt that release of the schedule could lead to criminals knowing when the subdivision is vulnerable. The security committee will be brought back and a chair will be announced at the next meeting. The committee will have oversight for how SEAL security can help and work with NOPD on better response times, which are currently days or never. The committee can also work with the quality of life officer. Other issues with NOPD include unprofessional behavior from officers and lost records. Residents can report issues at non-PAC meetings and attend Facebook meetings. During the Q&A period, residents were encouraged to get vaccinated so that meetings can be resumed in person. Vaccinations can be obtained at New Orleans East Hospital. Economic development, area cleanup, and nuisance snakes in the area were also addressed. Mtumishi St. Julian made a motion to adjourn the meeting. It was seconded by Brenda Hogan, and the meeting was adjourned at 11:26. It says PM, but that will be changed to AM. And the next meeting was planned to be held in August or September.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept the minutes with the change from AM to PM, PM to AM?
I make a motion that the minutes be accepted with the necessary corrections.
It's been moved by Commissioner Parker.
I second.
Was that Velma?
Yes.
I didn't.
I'm sorry, I
Second.
second. Yes.
Second by Commissioner Velma. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And going back to the agenda, we're moving on to the purpose for this meeting. We're a little bit late, but this meeting is to address the budget to stay in compliance with New Orleans City Council and state regulations. Can we get the budget put on the screen?
Okay. A minute to find that one. I didn't pull that one.
Yeah.
While Lisa is doing that, I want to mention, that's why I came in a little late. Coastal is picking up the garbage, but they'll only pick up one can, but no bags, because it's a lady by herself and she's only grabbing the cans and dumping them in the truck. But if I went out there, so I had some bags, she told me if I put the bags in the can, she would take them. So I did that, but they're only, and she also said that Metro was going to pick up this evening sometime.
So I saw Metro in McKindle Estates right before this meeting started. So I'm hoping that they come over to us. And just this morning, the city, the mayor actually announced that for the foreseeable future, areas serviced by Metro, we're going to 1 day a week pickup. They still haven't said exactly what day that will be, but I believe we should be able to get our trash picked up today by Metro. And I've been listening for them because the last time they came, I went and threw bags in myself because they weren't picking them up. And I was like, just stay there and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, but that's the only way that we could get things done, you know? But yeah, that was going to be part of my announcements that
Okay.
The mayor did announce that. And once we do find out if we're going to be a Wednesday or Saturday or whatever day it's supposed to be our 1 day, so residents know when to put their cans out, because mine have been out for a week.
Days. Yeah.
And they're full to the point where I can't do anything else with them. So hopefully we can get some more of that information.
I'd like to chime in on that because I was fortunate last Saturday to put out both garbage and trash cans, and they both were emptied at the same time. So you may have to, if you're backed up with your primary container, put whatever you have to push into the secondary container. And like I said, last week, they emptied both of mine to my satisfaction. The one truck, not both trucks that used to come by, but one truck.
Yeah. Well, they've suspended all recycling, but what I saw was a Metro truck. I didn't get to see how many people were on the back of it, but I am hopeful that we get real trash pickup at least once a week. And they did say that they're crediting all residents in those areas back for November. but we haven't had our trash picked up correctly in 2-3 months. So
Well, like 6
just
months.
something to think about.
Right.
All right, so I do see that we now have the budget resolution on the screen. Can everyone see?
Lisa,
I think I pulled it.
that's last year's
Yeah.
resolution.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry about that. Let me try again.
If you don't have it, I can email it to you really quickly.
I have it. I guess I just looked at the wrong.
That's the last year.
Okay. I have it now. Let's see.
Well, I guess I can, while it's being rolled up, I can, Mr. President, I guess I can explain what's going on. It's a repeat of what we've done every single year.
Yes.
All of the subdivision,
We're in the top second.
are required to submit to the city council each year a formal budget resolution and a budget for the year coming up. The city council puts all our budgets with their formal budget that they approve in November of each year with the city's budget to be as required by the city charter. So that's why we're having this meeting, and this meeting is so important to submit this formal resolution and budget to the city council. The language, the legal language is the same budget resolution that we do every single year, which basically gives the history of the fee, the date of the election, and authorization, the legal authorization of why we collect this money. So we can roll that up, and at the end of this is the actual budget. Lisa, can you roll that? Roll it all. Okay. So the budget that we're looking at is almost identical to the budget of last year. The expenditures have not been significantly different. The only significant difference has been the insurance. The insurance has gone up significantly, and so the budget changed. The budget went up. Last year, the budget was $4,000, and because the insurance has increased to $5,781 this year, I changed the budget for 2022 to $5,800 to accommodate that, but that requires some other additional changes in other line items. The line items that I changed is the printing line item from $700 to $300. The reason why I chose the printing line item to do that is because of the Zoom meetings. We have not been printing signs, and therefore it's not necessary to have that large of a printing line item. The second line item that I'm recommending change is the postage line item. Last year it was $800. This year I'm recommending $100 line item. And the only need for postage has been postage for paying bills, and the transactions haven't been significant. So therefore the postage line item hasn't been that large. The next one is the website line item. Last year it was $500. I'm recommending that we go down to $300. And then the contingency line item, reducing by $500 from $2,500 last year to $2,000 this year. That would make up the difference in the increase in that line item for insurance, and therefore we would cover our budget. The revenues do not change, at least the anticipated revenues. Now, of course, in reality, what is actually collected sometimes people don't pay and it takes a while for the city to actually collect. But in terms of anticipated revenues for the creation of the budget, that doesn't change. So that's why the budget is what it is now, and it doesn't really change that much. Any questions?
No one has any questions on the budget. It is pretty similar to last year, and it pretty much stays the same as well as we can. But the insurance going up is kind of something we're going to have to think about for the future, because the cost of services seem to be going up across the board. Eventually, security is going to go up when we have to renew our next contract. We're anticipating insurance to go up again next year. So just want to let everybody know that, we're not changing what we're doing, but some of the services that we pay for, it's going up and it's kind of out of our control. So we're going to have to start thinking about some creative ways. I'm sorry? Did someone have a question?
I think someone was just coughing or something.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so in the future, we're going to have to think of some creative ways to try to minimize some of our costs to keep matching that. We should be able to do it for some time.
So we need a formal motion and a second for the motion for the formal resolution to present to the city council.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the budget as shown?
I had a question before that motion gets fully addressed. At the risk of losing my screen to see the budget, the landscaping aspect of that, is it still the same, or what is the amount?
The landscaping is $1,250 per quarter, $5,000 per year. That did not go up. That has not changed.
Okay. Thank you. We can move on with the motion now.
Okay. If no other questions, can I get a motion to approve the budget as shown?
I move to approve the budget as shown.
It
I
has
second it.
been,
Walker
it has been
seconded.
properly moved and seconded. All those in
Second.
favor?
One of the board members have to, Richard, we appreciate your support, but I have to get a second from one of the board members.
Is not a board member anymore. I'm sorry.
I'll second it. It's Brenda.
Now it has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay. So that was the only real agenda item on this meeting. But we do have an open forum in case some people want to bring up anything else in the subdivision. I do know that one thing that was recently brought to our attention, they're building a home on Nottoway. And some residents had concerns about the building, making sure that it's being built to Lake-Bullard standards. And we just wanted to actually let people know the role of the Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association and Improvement District in the things we can and cannot do. The person building on Nottoway has all their licenses and permits from the city. And according to the Lake-Bullard zoning restrictions, the only things that we have listed that we can call fault for is if someone is trying to build a multifamily home, or if they're building a one-story home that is under 1,800 square feet, or a two-story home under 2,100 square feet. Those things were written into the Lake-Bullard, the restrictions, not by the board. That was done by the builders, I believe. And we don't have the authority to tell people what they can and cannot build as long as the city approves them and it falls outside of the scope of the square footage and a single family home. Now the guy who's building was kind enough to share his plans with us. He is building a stucco and brick home. It will be raised, which is one of the issues that some of the residents had issue with. But we actually do have raised homes in Lake-Bullard. This would not be the first. There's a raised home on the corner of Bullard and Fernley, but they put the brick at the bottom to cover so you can't see underneath the house. And I believe that's what this gentleman is building as well. Everything that he's doing it looks like it's going to conform to all of the city's codes. And again, they've given him all of the permits that's needed. We'll kind of just keep watching to make sure, but it looks like that everything is in good standings there. I didn't know if anyone was on that had any questions about it or wanted to speak on it.
Brian, did you say that it would have, it was going to be brick and stucco?
According to the plans that was sent to us, the drawing showed that I believe the front is going to be, and let me see if, well, I can't share my screen, but I was going to say if we can, do you have that as well?
Yeah, I'm looking for it now. Let's see.
Yeah, I believe the front of the home is going to actually be stucco, and then the sides were brick. It was a little bit difficult to, I don't know how to read design plans, but it does say stucco and brick on there. Because I do know some of the concerns were that they would use hardy siding or something that does not fit the neighborhood, which would look a little bit different. But even though we can't control that, I don't believe that's what he's building.
From the plans that was sent, it looks like it's stucco on the front and brick on the opposite sides.
Yes. Can you scroll down a little bit? Actually keep going. I think that's just that's the interior.
Let's go further down.
Yeah,
we
so here, if you go up just a little bit, the front, I'm sorry, down. It says in the,
Oh,
I'm
nope,
sorry,
that's it. Yeah.
right there, right
Okay.
there. Perfect. So yes, they're building stucco. It looks like the left portion is stucco and the middle portion is stucco. There's wood columns at the doorway, and then it's going to be brick on the right-hand side. The hardy siding that you see is actually on for the roof part, which I do believe is also something that we see in our subdivision.
Mhm. Actually, the brick looks like it's only on the bottom of the columns, it appears.
Oh yeah, so the whole front is stucco. I'm sorry, I thought that
Yeah,
brick was going to be there. So
I did too when I initially looked at it.
yeah. But everything according to this conforms to what we've got in the Lake-Bullard restrictions. You know, and again, we'll just kind of keep an eye on what they're building. Can you scroll down to see if there are any? So yeah, okay. If this picture, it looks like they're gonna do what the home on Bullard and Fernley has done. So while it's raised, you're not gonna be able to see. You see the flood vents, basically. That means that they're gonna have stucco going all the way down to the ground. So even though the home is raised, you won't be able to see under it like a home built inside New Orleans. So I think it's still going to basically look like most of the homes in Lake-Bullard.
How high off the ground?
I'm not sure if that the left elevation there, it says 3/16 equals, I don't know how to read that, but just from looking at the drawings, I can't really tell. Can you is there any more? It should say it somewhere on here, so keep going down. From the drawings, it doesn't look like it's that high off the ground. Keep going. that 3/16 equals 1. Does anybody know how to read drawings on here by any chance?
I think that just relates to the 3/16 on the drawing relates to 1 foot.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd have to measure it and see how.
Yeah.
That's the finished product you measure, but it should be on the drawing somewhere. Keep going. Okay, there's okay.
Doesn't
Can't
show
rightly
that.
tell from that either.
No, maybe
Yeah.
the next page. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the pilings layout.
Pilings placements.
Yeah.
Center class 3 to 5 feet.
Here we go. Maybe here.
Yeah, it's getting close
Three,
there.
3 feet. What? Go back up. No, never mind.
There you go. You're 24 at the bottom
Mhm.
right. It's 24 inches.
No, okay.
Okay, so 2 feet off the ground.
That's what it's shown.
Okay.
Mhm.
And if it's covered, it's not, if, as long as it's covered, it should be fine. But the
Mhm.
issue that we have is even if it's not covered, there's nothing that restricts them from doing that. And as was said earlier, that FEMA has encouraged people to build raised homes basically throughout New Orleans because of Katrina, which is why we already have some raised homes in Lake-Bullard.
All right.
We will keep an eye on it, and hopefully they build a nice home. We shouldn't have to deal with this too much. There's only, I want to say there's only what, 2 or 3 vacant lots left. I know there's one on Bullard, there's one on Fernley, and the one on Nottaway is this one being built.
And
There's one
midpoint.
on midpoint. Yeah,
Midpoint.
there's one midpoint here.
Midpoint.
Yeah.
So we have 3 vacant lots left, maybe another one. So hopefully we'll be fully built soon, and everyone will at least keep everything towards kind of what we look like. Okay, so moving back on to open forum, does any resident have any questions or comments or anything that they want to bring up?
Hey, good morning. I have a question. My name is Val Williams. My question is about domestic disputes within the subdivision. So if we have a neighbor who's having disputes at 1, 2 in the morning, what is the procedures other than when we call security, which security was made aware? What are the procedures for things like that? Because it has happened a couple of times. I'm not even gonna say a couple. I will go even further to say at least 4 times where the neighbors have had disputes and have woken us up at 1 and 2 in the morning, cursing, carrying on, walking down the street. And, you know, it's happened on weekends, but, you know, this could potentially happen even on a weekday, but it's still unacceptable either way. So what's the procedures when your neighbors are having disputes at that time of the morning?
Honestly, your first call should be to 911. If there's any type of domestic dispute, domestic violence, do not engage them. Do not try to intervene. Call 911. That is your first call, even before calling our security, because that is a legal matter, and we want to make sure that everybody stays safe. I'm glad that you did make our security aware of it, but unless they actually, they should come to try to intervene, but they're going to also call 911. That is a city matter, and that's something that Lake-Bullard does not have any policing power over, unless there's a domestic disturbance happening in front of security. They can't, and our security does not have any power to investigate or do anything but document it and call the police. So the procedure for that would really be to call 911 and start letting them know, keeping a record of it, so they can never say that, oh, this is the first we've ever heard of it. Because if 911 doesn't know, if there's no pattern, getting them to come out, they're not going to come out quickly the first time. they don't come out quickly for anything for us at this point in time. But I would encourage you to call. When is the last time this has happened?
It actually happened, I want to say last week. It was last weekend. It happened last weekend. I want to say it was either Saturday or Sunday around 1 a.m. And
Do you know
no
if,
one,
has anyone ever called the police?
I don't think anyone called the police. I don't think anyone actually called security. Security just showed up, and security stopped and asked, was everything okay? And they said yes. And security just kind of monitored the situation until the woman left. So I don't even
Okay.
know if any residents called security. I don't think anyone ever called the police. And I guess it was just kind of being neighborly. It's happened a few times, but I guess it was just being neighborly. But at this point, it's kind of like, okay, when does this stop?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to remind everybody, SEAL does not have policing power, so they did all they could do. They try to make sure everything is okay. If the residents say yes, they're okay, they can't push the issue like NOPD can. And they can monitor the situation until they leave. But unless they see an actual crime, they can't really intervene. That's why it is important to call NOPD, because they can come out and investigate, whereas SEAL can only monitor and report unless they see a physical crime happen. I mean, has there been any violence, or has it just been arguing and yelling?
Well, it's basically been arguing and yelling. I mean, the woman, this last one last week, she was going up the street, cursing, yelling. She kind of just tipped over, my garbage can, things like
See,
that. It was nothing
that's a
physical.
neighborhood disturbance, and that warrants a NOPD call. If they're taking it out into the streets, into the public, please call NOPD. I know some people are hesitant to call police on issues like that, but you never know if it's going to escalate to something worse than just arguing. So I mean, that will be my suggestion, to call NOPD. And if you can, I mean, I don't know if you have my phone number. I think I've given it to you before,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
you just give me a heads up as well. And if security is monitoring the situation, I'll make sure they kind of keep us informed as well. But NOPD would be the route to go.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Does anyone else have any questions or comments, concerns? Well, before we adjourn, I do want to thank some people for their things that they've been doing. So I'm not sure how many residents were back about a week after the storm, or a week and a half. We had, was it the sheriff's office that picked up Mtamishi?
Yes.
The sheriff's office, correct.
The sheriff's office actually came to Lake-Bullard. This did not happen all across New Orleans or New Orleans East, but I believe that was organized by Sean Bruno. Was anybody else involved?
No, I think it was Sean and the sheriff.
Sean and the sheriff worked together to help get, they couldn't take everything. They had a small truck, and they had to, they filled it up, and they had to empty it several times to get all of Lake-Bullard. But that really, really provided a much needed service, because if you were here, I was here 6 days after the storm, the smell, just the flies, the maggots, everything in the streets was bad. And we really want to thank them for getting us that initial pickup. That was a very great service that was provided to us. And again, that would not have happened without the sheriff and Sean Bruno. So I definitely want to say thank you to them. I want to say thank you to Lisa Stafford. She stayed during the storm, and she helped basically go around to kind of assess Lake-Bullard, as well as SEAL. SEAL went out. This is not their job, but they did an assessment of our subdivision to try to let us know, do we have a lot of homes damaged? And we were trying to reach out to let people know what was going on in the subdivision and keep us safe from all of the looting that was happening initially. It kept it out of our subdivision. So everybody who played a part in that, thank you. All of the people who stayed, who were giving me updates of what was going on in the neighborhood, thank you. So I could pass that on to other residents as well. And I'm just really grateful that we have a good community that work together during the storm. You know, we all didn't stay, we all can't stay, but the people who did gave as much information as they could so we could try to get out for everyone.
Brian,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I wanted to, I want to make a recommendation that we increase the fee that we pay Noela Services each quarter for the valuable services that they provide for us. As board members and voluntary board members, the legal requirements are getting more and more burdensome for us. The requirements, especially in January, for us to fill out our ethical requirements. Then in May to do the financial requirements of the board, and we need the reminders, the filling out of the reports, the keeping of our archives that we're required to keep, so forth and so on. And I want to make a recommendation that we pay Noela Services $425 a quarter. I want to make a recommendation that we raise that to $525 a quarter. That's not a budgetary issue because we do have enough money in the budget. It's just a recommendation that we raise it to $525 a quarter.
I actually agree with this. Noela Services provides invaluable services to Lake-Bullard, always going above and beyond, keeping all of our records. So I would be in favor of this. I just need, well, is there any other discussion on this before we try to, do we need a motion?
I don't think we need a motion. I don't think it's not a budgetary issue.
Well, is there any?
But if there's any
discussion on this?
objections from the board, we would like to hear it.
None here.
If there are no objections, it's not a vote, but if there are no objections, I agree and should take effect ASAP.
January 1st,
January 1st?
the new budget.
Perfect. All right. If there are no other comments or questions, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion that the meeting be adjourned.
It has been moved by Commissioner Parker.
Second.
A second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Hogan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned. And as always, I'll stay on if anybody wants to have any personal questions or anything like that with me. I'll stay on for a couple minutes to see if anybody wants to discuss anything outside of the meeting. So I have stopped the recording and I'm about to stop the YouTube live video as well.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for that recommendation. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure to serve Lake-Bullard, and I really appreciate all your support and being appreciative of what I do.